Hello. I'm back. This week we're going to talk about what it's like about being a small YouTuber and why it's kind of nice actually compared to being like, where you're like a fish or a grain of salt in the ocean compared to being like a whale in the ocean or something. um, you know, like when you don't really make money on here or you're not famous or anything, but I never really cared about all that. I mean, I've talked about on this channel before, I do this more just like a hobby. Plus, it's just a way of sharing my thoughts and opinions with people and maybe just like spread awareness of certain things from pop culture, like maybe an underrated movie or a video game that I think deserves a sequel or something, things like that. But yeah, I never really, well, I'll get to more on that in a bit, but the whole rich and famous thing. But when you're like a small YouTuber, like, a fish in the ocean or a grain of salt in the ocean, depends on how big your channel, or how small your channel is, I should say. Sometimes it's kind of nice. There are some benefits of being a small YouTuber. The first one is I've actually heard YouTube. I'm not going to put any names out there, but I've seen YouTubers actually say this before, that when you're a small YouTuber, there's like a lack of loneliness because some content creators who do YouTube as like a career, like they make a living on YouTube, and it can also kind of depend on the type of content you produce, but most of them, it can be very lonely because, for the most, like I said, it kind of depends on the content you create, but for most of them, or a lot of them anyway, they usually tend to work alone, whereas, like, majority of jobs, are social, like, whether, even, like, well, even if you don't deal with the general public on a daily basis, you're still around other people, like interacting with other people. Whereas, like, a lot of YouTubers, like whether they do game reviews or journalism, whatever, they're usually by themselves, like while they're working, if you will. So, yeah, that's one thing. Like I said, I've seen YouTubers talk about that before. The next thing is sometimes it's nice when you're not famous, like, because the thing is, well, let me kind of build up a bit, so to speak. Like, one thing that drives me nuts, maybe some of you can relate to this, but it's like when you're in a store and you're trying to look at something, and then there's somebody like practically breathing down your neck, or like they're right next to you or right behind you or something. And this is something that's been going on for years with me. Well, actually, maybe it was far back as I can remember, but it's like if I had $1 for every time that happened to me in a store, from like the past 10 years that happened to me in a store, like, I could probably retire to the Bahamas or something. But I feel like when you're famous, you probably tend to see that a lot more. Like, case in point, it's why I could like probably never handle being famous. Like, because it's like, even though being like a YouTube celebrity may not, or e-celebrity, whatever, is maybe not the same as being like a rock star or a movie star or something. But kind of depends on how well you know them. But anyway, the thing is, like, let me put it this way. Since I'm from Massachusetts, you're born, live in Massachusetts, another celebrity who's from Massachusetts is Steven Tyler. So, let's say if I was in a grocery store and I saw Steven Tyler there, I wouldn't be like, oh my god, it's Steven Tyler. I wouldn't be like, I wouldn't even say anything to the guy. I mean, as much as I love Aerosmith, I'm just like, I'm not going to bother him because, here he is trying to do, I mean, yeah, he's a famous celebrity, and like I said, I love Aerosmith, but it's like, here's a guy just like in a, I don't want to say natural habitat, so to speak, but it's just well, here he is trying to do something that many people consider to be a chore. I mean, let's be honest, a lot of people hate grocery shopping. Maybe he's one of those people, maybe he isn't, but here he's just trying to concentrate on what he's doing and stuff. It's like, I don't want to bother him, like, unfortunately, a lot of people, well, there's other people like that, other people aren't, so it's like, that's kind of one of the things about being famous. Like, I was like, yeah, I don't know if I can deal with that, especially like when how much I end up running into people in stores, like, consistently. Like, like I said, this has been going on for years. You're trying to look at something, and then there's somebody like practically right on top of you, looking at the exact same thing. Even though there's millions of other things for sale, they just happen to be looking at the exact same thing. And like I said, it happens consistently. It's been going on for years. I could give stories on that, but that's that'll take too long. The next thing is, there's like a lack of drama when you're a small YouTuber. I mean, there's always going to be drama in your life, like, you know, especially on the internet. No matter where you go on the internet, you're going to run into, or no matter what you do in life, you're going to run into drama. That's just kind of the way it is. But the thing, it happens like all the time with like, with YouTube, especially like bigger YouTubers or content creators. It's like let's say, because like I said, I'm not going to put any names out there. Let's say YouTuber A makes a video about YouTuber B, and YouTuber B isn't too happy about the fact that YouTuber A made a video about the YouTuber B. So then it starts like this whole controversy and like battle and like all this drama. They're both going back and forth with each other on social media. Usually Twitter. I actually left Twitter like, I don't know, the end of the summer or something and never looked back, but that's beside the point. You know, and then of course, because, you know, both of these content creators have like fanatics who act like, they feel like they have to like white knight for their favorite YouTubers, so then they go into like the comment sections of videos for both these content creators, and they're like all bashing each other in the comment section and stuff, and it's like, so when you're a small YouTuber, you don't really see any of that. Like, I mean, yeah, you might find a little bit of drama here and there, but nothing to that extent, which is another thing about, like, as humans, we all make mistakes, and it's like, there are times where YouTubers will, it happens a lot more often. I mean, I'm sure it probably happens with smaller YouTubers too, but I feel like it happens more often with like bigger YouTubers, like big or medium, whatever. More so bigger ones, but it's like, if they do something, like they make a mistake, or they do something scummy, like, well, let me put it this way, like, if, like, they, I mean, well, it's one thing if it turns out like they're a pedophile, or maybe like a serial killer or something. That's completely different. That is something that they should be held accountable for, and probably shouldn't even be on the platform for. I mean, like, you know, of course, you know, so long as like all the evidence is there's all this hardcore evidence against them that proves they're guilty, and like all the facts are on the table and stuff, like, yeah, that's different. But if it's something more like they cheat on their spouse, or like they sell someone a defective game console and they knew it was defective before they sold it, yeah, that's a scummy thing to do, but it's like years will go by, and, you know, like, and, you know, everything is forgiven, like, they're all cool with each other and stuff, like, yeah, I'm not, like, what they did was a terrible thing, and it was scummy and stuff, but it's like, you know, years will go by, they're all, you know, they've forgiven each other, they're all cool with each other and everything, but there'll still be those ones that are like, coming after them, like, oh, remember when you did that thing? Like, remember that thing? Like, they'll just, like, won't let them live it down. And most of the times, these people are in the minority, but there are the more extremist ones that'll, like, start replying to other people in the comments, like, oh my god, you still watch this person? Remember how they did this thing, like, 10 years ago? And even though everyone has, like, moved on and nobody gives a shit anymore, because, you know, everyone is, like, you know, like, their other person or whatever, like, has, the person that they wronged has forgiven them or whatever, like, and, you know, everyone's accepted it and stuff, but like I said, that happens all the time. I feel like there was one other thing. Oh yeah, that's another thing, is the way YouTube can be. It's like, you could be like the most G-rated channel on the platform, and yet you'll randomly get demonetized for no reason or something. I feel like that's something people who make a living off of YouTube have to worry about that a lot. You know, and they're always like, you know, they always got to be careful with what they say. I mean, this can happen like with any job, but I feel like it's, for the most part, I feel like it's not as extreme with YouTube as the way YouTube is. Like, you know, like, where you really got to be careful what you say or do on there. It'll be like gone, well, or whatever. You know, and I feel like that's something that, like, a lot of YouTubers have to deal with, like, bigger YouTubers, but, and it's, I feel like in many cases they don't necessarily have a backup plan, so it's like, you know, like, if you're suddenly, like, kicked off the platform or something, it's like you're screwed. But yeah, that's just kind of wanted to say what it's like being a small YouTuber, and it's not such a bad thing, you know, because the number one thing you got to remember is that YouTube is not a get-rich-quick scheme. You know, I mean, yeah, there is the rare occasion where somebody will blow up on the platform, but it's like hitting the lottery. It's a 1,000,000,000 to 1 chance. So it's if you want to become like turn it into a career, like have at it. But if you, like me, just do it as more of a hobby or sharing your thoughts and stuff with people, that's okay too. So, that being said, thanks for watching, everyone. And I think next week I'm going to do a video about, like, Battle Royale arcade games, such as, like, Tetris 99 and the new Pac-Man 99 and stuff. So, if you want to tune in to see that, well, tune into that. And until next time, thanks for watching.